let's think back 4 years ago.
Yes.
Anything funny you remember from your audition?
Absolutely. So there's one thing in particular. Actually, two things I remember. Okay, so the first time I auditioned was with the other Austin and Allies. We hadn't auditioned the Dezes yet, so it was just me, Ross, and Laura, and a couple other people. And I remember them bringing us into the room for to just take a picture of all of us together to see what we all look like side by side. And I was so short, and everyone was so tall. That always stands out in my mind.
The funniest stuff from the auditions didn't actually involve them at all. Like because we were saying that today, like the funniest stuff to us was the people that would come in and audition, and we watched one guy tune his guitar for about 20 minutes before, because he was
Doing it in the hallway before?
No, and then we actually sent him out to go fix it and come back in later, and then he came back in like an hour later, and then it was still out of tune.
And then he kept going out and retuning, coming back in and going, oh, and then he went back out. And we said, well, we're not hiring him to tune his guitar, so let's give him another chance. And then, unfortunately, he wasn't a great actor either, but,
I remember them asking if Raini and I could dance in the audition, because everyone was cast. I was the last person to be cast. I was cast the day before we shot the pilot, and I was very nervous. So I remember them asking if Raini and I could do a dance. We were doing some ballet routine, and it was beautiful.
Showed off some moves.
Yeah, they were crying. They might have had something else going on that day, but people were definitely crying in that room.
Also, when we auditioned the Dezes, there was 3 guys, and Calum was one of them. And I remember going in there reading with Calum, and in the audition, they just threw it as we had to come up with a dance routine. Right there. Any style, any kind, it could be however long we wanted it to. A dance routine, commit, go. They're like, we'll give you 10 seconds to talk it over. So me and Calum go in the corner and we're like, okay, what should we do? And I was like, well, do you know how to dance? And he's like, describe, know how to dance. And I was like, can you do ballet? And he was like, no. And I was like, perfect, me neither, let's do it. I mean, it's supposed to be funny, right? So we came up with the weirdest ballet routine you could ever think of, and we're jumping in the air, and we nailed it because now we're on the TV show, and so that was amazing.
Funny from my audition, actually, the house director still has the audition, and he showed it to me recently, and I kind of watched it back. This is gonna sound weird, but I realized why they chose me in a way, because when I was in the room, they kind of saw a very innocent kid, basically, and that's what they wanted. So it was really interesting to watch. But I just remember thinking I was so funny, because when you're in the room on a sitcom, they laugh after every joke.
You're just in there with the producer.
Yeah, because they want you to get the timing right. So when they were laughing, I was like, oh, I'm the funniest kid in the world. Later did I realize that is part of the audition process. Yeah.
We need to get that on YouTube.
Yeah.
And Ross just fit the character. He was him. When you have a vision in your mind when you're writing something, and then you see that person comes in the door. And we've been working in television for 20 years, and we just know. When that you hit, he walked in, and
he was that guy. And we wrote this exaggerated character. Oh, he plays 32 instruments, and it's like Ross plays 32 instruments.
Yeah. And we're like, can you dance? Everything we asked he could do. And then over the 4 seasons, we learned he could do everything. So everything we needed from him.
It's an odd skill, but if you couldn't do something at the Monday table read, he could do it by Tuesday. If you're like, oh, can you spin a ball on your fingers? He's like, well, I'll try. And then Tuesday, he's all.
Can you do magic?
Yeah,
Harlem Globetrotter.
Absolutely.
Costly moment that you would put in a time.
When their relationship was more developing,
I would want there to be a big double wedding, Austin Alley and Des and Trish, because that has to happen. That has to happen.